YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Excuse my face, excuse my hair, because I've been sick and I've been experiencing allergies. This is my third, fourth day, so runny nose, sore throat, coughing, sneezing, all of that good stuff I've been experiencing, and I'm just basically effed up. I couldn't even go out or like even bought my groceries or anything, so that's what I look like. But usually I don't look like this. I have not shaved or even combed my hair. But yeah, today I want to talk about how on semen retention people will actually buy you things. And I wanted to talk about 3 incidents that recently happened with me. The first one, so let's straight just get into it. First of all, I want to say that you still got couple days until 2026, so get into those good habits, because you might have those temptation for the next a week or 3 days or 4 days. So you may want to drop those bad habits so you get used to it and you have a good start. For those of you who didn't watch my last video, watch that last video, because I explained how the first 2 months going to dictate your entire year. If you do well and you build that habit for the first 2 months or 3 months or 50 days, then it's going to be easy. But if you fail right away, then you're not going to have any motivation. Okay, but yeah, let's just straight get into it. So the first incident that happened was probably 4 months ago. So this is when I used to work at Target warehouse, right? I was on my lunch, and there's this coworker, this guy, right? We were standing by the vending machine, and I was waiting for him to buy his stuff so then I could buy my stuff, my pop, soda, whatever. And this guy is standing right next to me, and he goes, "Oh, do you want me to buy you the stuff?" All of a sudden, and remind you that he's my coworker, right? I see him often, but that usually does not happen. The thing that happened, that usually does not happen when I was not on a streak of retention. So he was like, "Do you want me to buy you the chips or whatever?" And I was just kind of shocked, and I'm like, "Sure." I actually grabbed it and I gave it to him, and he was actually gonna buy it for me. And then I'm like, no, I was just joking. And he was like, "No, I can buy it." And I'm like, no, I was just joking, but I just played it cool. But I was just so shocked. I'm like, this guy was actually willing to buy me stuff. That's crazy. That was one story. Story number 2 was I went to a different job recently. I'm at a different job, and I have a new supervisor. So I drive an equipment sometimes, and I was on this equipment, and I went to this aisle. So the rules over there are, if somebody wants to follow you, who's not going to be on an equipment, he or she has to let you know if they could follow you. So remind you that she's my supervisor, right? She asked me if she could follow me, and she's new, she just started working. So I just joked with her, I let her go 1-2 times. But then I told her that, well, every time you're gonna want to follow me or pass me, you're gonna have to pay me 50 cents, or at least buy me a Red Bull or something. And she actually, when I said actually buy me a Red Bull, she actually took that literally. She was like, "Oh, what's your favorite flavor?" This and that. I go to Scooters and I buy my drink from there, and this and that. And she was kind of hinting some stuff as well. And then she was like, "What days do you work?" "Do you work tomorrow? I was gonna bring you something." And I'm like, that was the second time she mentioned that, and I'm like, I was just joking. You don't have to bring me anything. And remind you, this is my supervisor, right? This is crazy. That was my second story. A third story was I was heading to Walmart because I wanted to buy some bone marrow. So I parked my car. I'm in the parking lot, and I'm walking to Walmart, So as I'm walking, I pass by this guy. He's walking out. I'm walking in the parking lot. He walked past by me. And all of a sudden, he goes, "Hey, excuse me, dude." And I just looked back, and this guy started talking to me, and he goes, "Hey, you look familiar, this and that." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And we started talking, and then he goes, "You look very sharp." And basically we had a conversation, but basically what he was trying to say, that he has a business, and he wants me to be part of his business, and he wants me to be his business partner, I don't some clothing business. And funny enough, my brother and I were thinking about business, online business, and in e-commerce. And I also started, I'm like, oh, perfect. And long story short, he took my number, and I never heard anything back from him. I didn't text him, I didn't call him. He never texted me or called me, but he did take my number and make sure I gave him the right number. And he told me, you look very sharp. Now, I don't know what that means, sharp. I mean, I said thank you, but I'm not the smartest guy. I'm average, the most good looking guy, or smartest sharp guy. So I don't know what that means, but he was like, yeah, you look sharp. Took down my number and stuff, and never heard from him. But at the time, just walked past by him, and he goes, you look sharp, and started talking to me about business. So those were some of the strange things that will happen. And I think it has to do things with energy. People can feel your presence, and you don't necessarily have to be the most good looking guy, because everything is energy. There could be a guy who's the best looking guy out there, but if the energy is off and doesn't know how to talk, how to communicate, it's there's going to be a difference that you're going to feel. And you don't even have to go necessarily for 6 months. I was probably 25 days in when I experienced those things. So and I'm excited to see what's going to happen when I'm 6 months in, 7 months in, 8 months in. Manifestation becomes so easy. Sometimes there was last winter, there was time where I was thinking about shoes, right? And all of a sudden, my roommate, he bought shoes for snow, and it was just bigger for him. And he was like, you could have it for free. And he gave me his shoes that I wore for an entire year. And it was amazing, good looking shoes, And I was shocked. The manifestation was just like this, But yeah, that, I hope that makes some sense for you guys and motivated you guys to an extent. 2026 is gonna be our year. We're gonna make the most process. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.